Shalom, shalom, family. This is Soldier Shaqua Araya from Believers of the Way, Dallas. Getting our flyer mission, man. You know what I mean? Well, put this away and get to work. Shalom.
This is your problem. You don't know the Bible because you don't read the Bible. And then you Christian apologists, y'all just started reading the Old Testament just so you can combat us. So you can thank us for that. Thank us for you getting a little bit more smart.
Now, this is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, and verse 16. Thus, in process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law, and graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings. Hey, that's why the Stekars, the indigenous people, that's why we had to go into slavery. That's why the Spaniards had to come and conquer us, because we went off.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. I want to give all credit and praises first to Yahweh Shemi, Yahweh Shah Barakathah. Then I want to give much love and spread all kinds of love to all my ox and aquathas out there who's enduring and continuing in the faith, who's making sure that they are following Yahweh's law, statutes, and commandments, who's definitely studying and staying up, with staying up with, us brothers and sisters in the truth, who's keeping it 100, who's not faking the truth, if you will. I am Yahweh's humble servant, Shaqua Araya from Believers of the Way, Dallas. And there's something I want to touch on that did take a while for me to deliver, right? I want to talk about where do we go? What happens after we perish, after our family members perish, and the difference between some beliefs that Christians may have versus to what the Bible is talking about. Going from what somebody may be feeling or traditional thoughts and sayings versus what's really going to happen. Can we handle it? Let's see. I don't think many people is going to receive this well, but I do believe that a lot of people will get some great understanding out of this in another perspective, because when I was in Christianity, I didn't know half of what I'm about to put out to y'all. So, if you will, let's start with Genesis chapter 3, verse 19. Let me get my screen set up right quick. Hold up, y'all. Alright. Make this bigger. Alright, let's go to Genesis 3 and 19, Shalakia. Got my notes over here. Alright. Genesis chapter 3, verse 19. In the sweat of thy face thou shalt eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust thou shalt return. So, in this moment right here, when we perish, we will go into the grave, right? We came from the ground, and we will return back unto the ground, right? So, as we can agree that when we perish, when we pass away, we go straight to the ground. I mean, okay, what about those that was cremated? All right, that's a good point, because honestly, my mom was cremated, right? So it still goes into the same, right? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Sure, it may be a different process of that, but you still return back to a dust state. That's one of the best ways I can really give you a visual. So it's not no big separation between that, other than the process of it. Like, for instance, remember back in movies or historical events and just facts that there were Viking burials, right? So was that person buried into the ground? No. Was that person cremated? Yes, in a different way. However, the belief is to return back to dust. There was many forms of it happening, right? But nonetheless, verse 19 brings us to the point of saying, hey, you know, this is what it is, right? We will return unto the ground, and you know, for out of it waste thou taken, for dust there art, and unto dust thou shalt return. All right. So let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. I'm gonna take y'all to like different phases of this, right? So right now we're starting with the spirit and the breath, life force, and that returns to Yahweh. Okay, so let's go to again Ecclesiastes. You know what? Stop it. It's acting weird. All right, Ecclesiastes 12, verse 7. All right, again, Ecclesiastes 12, verse 7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was. I just mentioned that, right? And the spirit shall return unto Yahweh who gave it. Now that's another part, right? That's another portion that is something that we can all agree on, right? And this is no shot or no gotcha, no aha moments to Christians at all. It's just I'm bringing things that we do agree on, and some things that may not be known about, if you will. So in this point, verse 7, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was. We are the dust. We will return to the earth as it was, right? However, the spirit shall return unto Yahweh who gave it to us. See, we can't see the spirit. I've seen someone die. I've seen someone pass away. I've seen some perish, right? And sure, they may look like they're asleep, but we don't see their spirit leaving or being absent. We just see them sleep, right? And I'm gonna touch into that. But that's just how we see it. And then, the first thing we say is, my condolences, no matter how wicked or righteous the person is, hey, they in heaven now. They in heaven with God. They ain't got nothing to worry about. They're at peace, which is true. But there's more meat on that bone, right? So let's go to Job. Let's go to Job 34. Let's touch Job 34. Oh, man. You know what? It's funny, but not funny. When my grandmother passed away, this was in New York. When my father's late mother, when she passed away, the pastor went to Job. And this was like way before I was in the truth. I was probably in college still, whatever. But the pastor said, let's turn to Job. And that made everybody in the church feel some kind of way. And at the time, I'm thinking like, yo, how you preaching over my grandmother's body saying Job? That just threw me off, But, accent and dialect, things like that, it has its own play to it. But yeah, I just looking at Joe just makes me think of that little memorial pastime moment. So yeah, let's go to Job 34. And what I say, verse 14 through 15. All right, verse 14. If he set his heart upon man, if he gather unto himself his spirit and his breath. Verse 15. All flesh shall perish together, and man shall turn again unto dust. Okay, so we all can agree that, yeah, we will go back into dust, and our spirit will go back up to the Most High. And this is very much given almost the same description, but in a different way, by saying if he set his heart upon man, right? Because even the Most High says, trust no man, but trust God. Paraphrasing. If he set his heart upon man, if he gathers unto himself his spirit and his breath, all flesh shall perish together. All flesh shall perish together. All flesh shall perish together. No matter what flesh it is, it's going. We're all gonna perish. And man shall turn again unto dust. So, what is that saying? That we do share a commonality of man being put back into dust. All right. Now, let's take it a step further. All right. Everything applies. Just follow me. Walk with me here. I'm slow boing it. All right. So let's go to Genesis 50, verse 10. All right. Genesis 50, verse 10. And what we're getting into here is a different level. 50 verse 10. All right, here we go. So basically, we're talking about, the deceased that's in the grave, right? And the dead is not conscious, and also they aren't working or interacting. The dead is still non-motion. Not thinking, not doing any works. It's just docile, dormant, dead, gone, right? All right, so verse 10, Genesis 50, verse 10. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan. And there they mourned with a great and very sore lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. This is something that many don't know. I didn't know this. I didn't know that when you mourn somebody, you're really supposed to mourn for 7 days. It doesn't mean that you forget about them. It doesn't mean that you no longer love who they were. It just means for 7 days, it hurts, man. It's painful. It's hard to breathe. For those who've had puppy love or those who've been married, or even I'm gonna just say married, right? Because you can be in a relationship and you can move on a lot faster than somebody you've been married to, even for a long time. When that, because I can use puppy love, because puppy love is, it's a strong feeling that you then later learn, okay, that was a phase. But marriage is not a phase, right? So I'm just use these two examples. Puppy love, when that person has the puppy love to the other person, and that person leaves, the pain. It feels cold. You feel alone. You can't eat. You can't watch TV. You want to spam call this person or spam text this person. Back then we didn't have text messages, but you want to spam text this person, and give all your I'm sorry's or why'd you leave or come backs and things like that. It's painful. And the thing is, that can last longer than 7 days. Some last until they get another person in their life, or till that person comes back. Either the two, it doesn't matter. It may be a very long time, especially more than 7 days. When you're married, and I've seen this firsthand, my brother's uncle. No, my brother's grandfather, Shalaki. My brother's grandfather and grandmother. They've been married, I think at the time, if I'm not mistaken, they've been married for probably almost 50 years. Somewhere around there, up there, And when my brother's grandmother passed away, the pain that his grandfather felt, my grandfather too, I'm just being specific here. We got different fathers, if you will. However, The pain that he endured at the memorial, at the funeral, and on out, it was unbearable for him. Now, I wasn't there at the funeral, but my brother informed me about what he witnessed on that part. But as far as him being at home, it was real bad for him, to the point to where he perished, like separating two canary birds forever. It's hard to live like that. So you can mourn, but mourning for 7 days can preserve you. I'm gonna say that again. You can mourn, but mourning for 7 days can preserve you. Because, there's not a lot of examples that we can have to see that happening. So now that we have a biblical source, and we can go deep into this part, but I'm really trying to piece things and put them together for the point I'm making here. With where do we go after we perish, after we pass away? And to deal with it is definitely to, speak to the Most High about it, see if He can help you cope with the pain, or help get the pain to remove out of you, to leave out of you. But in between time, during the process of that, you have to keep something in mind to keep you moving forward to get to that, right? And this helped me out a lot too, a lot. When I told somebody that, they didn't believe me, but when you see the scripture, it's like, oh, wow, right? So I just wanted to put that out there, right? So when this does happen, keep this in mind that, everything is going to be okay. Whether the person was wicked or not, your life still moves on, So, all right, let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 9, all right? Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 6. And then we're going to go to verse 10. But let's start at verse 6, though. Also, their love and their hatred and their envy is now perished. Neither have they any more a portion forever in anything that is done under the sun. So, what this is saying is, and I'm gonna slow read this. Also, their love and their hatred, whatever love and hatred they had while they were alive, and their envy is now gone. Love, hate, envy are three very, very important things that we all come to in our dwelling of life. Is now gone, stop, cut off, delete, out of here. Neither have they any more a portion forever in anything that is done under the sun. So whether if you breathe, sneeze, tripped up on something, laughed, looked at something, glanced, had a thought, anything is done. That's no more. We can't fathom that because our brains is working even while we sleep. That's why we have dreams. Our brains is even working in real time while we're awake. That's why we have daydreams, right? So, this pretty much brings out the fact that we can all agree, right, that when you pass away, everything stops, right? Okay. And that's where a lot of the pain comes at too, with many people, is that it's hard to see that your life just stopped. A hard period, a hard pause. It just stopped. And you're like, dang, now I got to go through life without this person. And they're not going to know anything that I'm doing, anything I'm saying. Like, nothing is going to resonate. They're gone. It's kind of hard to bring that in, right? So, all right, Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 5 through 6. Verse 5, for the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything, neither have they any more a reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. For the memory of them is forgotten. All right? Also their love and their hatred and their envy is now perished. Neither have they any more a portion forever in anything that is done under the sun. All right. So in verse 5 it's saying, for the living know that they shall die. Yes, we do know that we shall die. But the dead know not anything. You see how that works? When you're alive, you know something. When you die, you don't. Your brain ain't working. Ain't nothing going on. Neither have they any more a reward. You don't get no more blessings. You don't get no physical certificates or trophies or accolades or diplomas. It's over. It's over. You ever heard the expression, you only die once? Well, in this case, you do. Now, I do understand, some have passed away and came back to life after so many hours or minutes or whatnot. But on a permanent point, when you're gone and you're to dust, you're not coming back. There's no, I think what's that called, EKG. There's nothing that will shock you back to life or bring you back to life after you've been put into dust, not after you have become dust, right? So yeah, for the memory of them is forgotten. There's people that's passed away that you say, I'll never forget you. You ain't thinking about that person until you're chilling and your brain brought up a good reminiscing moment, or somebody brings that person's name up, or you drove by a place that y'all frequent or y'all been at, to bring up a memory. But outside of that, you're not really gonna remember that person, and they're for sure not gonna remember you. We could hang up pictures and have those shrine things, or things to show memories of the person. Yes, but still, that person will not remember you. It sucks to say that, but it doesn't, because I didn't say that. It's in the Bible. All right, let's go to Ecclesiastes 9 verse 10. Let's go to verse 10 right here. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might, for there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave. Shalakia. Nor wisdom in the grave, whither thou goest. So, it's clearly telling you, no matter what your hand findeth to do, no matter what you want to do and would like to do, whatever, do it with thy might. Yes, for there is no work, no device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave. One thing that I have heard is the most value, the most potential of people is in the grave. Because more than half of those people passed away before they got to their flourishing point, that they passed away in their potential state of anything successful or anything potentially successful towards the Most High, right? In doing His works. But the Most High knows what's up. He know if you BSing or you not, or He knows if what's about to come you can't handle. Many of the times death isn't really a bad thing, but all of the time the Most High knows that death has its, I want to say this correctly, the Most High knows that death has its purpose, put it like that, right? Even if some of us may not understand or know the purpose, the Most High got it. He's like, yo, I got this, right? So I know I mentioned that death has its state to where when we're looking at a person, they look like they're asleep, right? Death is compared to sleep. Let's go to John 11, verse 11 through 14. Because there is a future, there is a future awakening to resurrection. And I'm gonna tie that together. So I said John. Let's go to John. John 11, verse 11. And I say through 14. Yes. All right. Verse 11. These things said he. After that, he said unto them, our friend Lazarus sleepeth, but I go that I may awake him out of sleep. Then said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. Howbeit, Yahushua spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking of rest and sleep. Then said Yahushua unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead. All right. So in this point, Lazarus looked like he was knocked out, sleep. Like, yo, he's asleep. You know, I mean, even Christ's disciples said, Lord, if he sleep, he'll be all right. Because, we know sleep is medicine. For many things, like, for instance, now y'all know our people, don't matter if, so-called black people, Spanish, whatever, Israelites. When we get stressed out, we really need to take a nap. Like, we want to take a nap. It's something about that. We could be at work and you hit a high level stress point. Ooh, you get so sleepy. And then when you wake up, 8 times out of 10, you kind of forget about what happened before you went to sleep. At least for a moment, for a while, right? But even though when it comes back to you being able to face that moment again, you'll have more energy to do it because of that rest that you had before that, right? And that's something that a lot of us can really relate to. So yeah, the disciples said, Lord, if he sleep, he should do well. He'd be all right. But in verse 13, howbeit Yahushua spake of his death. I mean, come on, really? But they didn't get it. They thought that he had meant he was asleep, like resting in sleep. Because in verse 13 said, but they thought he had spoken of taking of rest and sleep. They're like, yeah, he's not gonna wake up. He'd be out for a long time. It's one of those things like when you're speaking in, I don't want to say in code, or like, how like we short word things or we short our sentences, but it all makes sense. It's one of those things. Christ's like, yeah, he be asleep for a long time. Word, but he be all right when he wake up then. And then Christ said, nah, he dead. So that's just how that goes in that point, right? But let's move it a little further here. Let's move it a little further. Let's go to Daniel 12 and 2. Let's go to Daniel 12 and 2. All right. Shlaki. In Daniel 12 and 2, it says, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting concept. Shalaki. Let me read this again. In Daniel chapter 12. All right. So in Daniel chapter 12, verse 2, it says, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. All right. What does that mean? It means that, it means that, and many of them that sleep in the dust, when we pass away, sleep, because it's synonymous to death. When we sleep in the dust, It means our body has now perished, and in totality, the word gets broken down, decomposed into dust of the earth shall awake. Wait a minute. But I thought we would sleep. How are we going to be awakened after a final moment? I thought there's no point of waking up after you die. I thought when you're gone, you're gone. You just said that. I did. However, some to everlasting life. It didn't say everybody. It said some to everlasting life, which we know that Israelites shall have everlasting life. That's a promise to us. That was a prophecy that's promised to us Israelites, pertaining to keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. But regardless, Israel shall have everlasting life, right? World without end, if you will. And some to shame and everlasting contempt. So there's others that will have shame and everlasting enduring and I want to say problems, but just contempt, just holding it down, like just thrive, just not thriving, but just pushing through and basically what we're going through now, but worse for other nations of people that is not promised everlasting life. You know, yeah. So this is a point right here that I wanted to bring out, that there's a line of division here. There's a line of division that us Israelites in the truth and many Christians differ, right? Because not just Christians, but many other religions and beliefs believe that we shall all come together as one people, as one nation of people, or whatever, however they may see it. No, we will never come together as one. Only Israelites come together as one against other nations. There's no agreement between us to say that it has, in this point, the Most High gave us the key, and other nations don't have that key. It's hard for them to fathom that, because our oppressors that taught the Bible in a very wrong, diverse way is now indoctrinated, embedded into many Christians' minds to believe that that's true. Regardless of looking at it right here, they say, yeah, that says that, but that ain't how I feel. That ain't what I was taught. But even though what you was taught came out of this very same Bible, turn the page and you see something else that you can't handle, doesn't mean you do away with it. You have to stomach what the Most High is presenting to you. You can't run and flee away because it feels good to defend it from afar, and running from one topic to another, moving the goalposts from one point to another point, and you pride yourself, pat yourself on the back and say you did a good job, and all you did was confuse the crap out of everybody. So yeah, you did a good job at confusing everybody, but let's set the record straight. That's not what's going to happen. Okay? We will have, which is the sum, we will have everlasting life. That's just point blank. Let's go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. I'm not trying to keep y'all too long. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. Verse 13 through 14. All right. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 13 through 14. In verse 13, it reads, But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. Verse 14, For if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so, them also which sleep in Yahushua will Yahweh bring with him. All right. So let's run this back a little bit. All right. So again, verse 13.
No, God,
but
please,
I
no,
would not
no,
have you to be ignorant. The
no.
Most High ain't having us stupid. He ain't having us ignorant.
No.
Most definitely ignorant, because he's teaching us everything we need to know within this book. Brethren, we're family. He loves us. He calls us brethren, right? Concerning them which are asleep. Again, sleep synonymous to death. All right? That ye sorrow not. Don't sorrow. All right? You be all right. Don't sorrow. It's going to be okay. Even as others which have no hope. Oh, I can't do it. I can't live. I'm going to die. I have no hope. I have nothing else to live for. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. That's even as others do that, that's not what you do. You know? Yeah, we do have pain. We do feel it. But that ain't how we conduct ourselves. You know? Verse 14. For if we believe that Yahushua, Christ, if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Christ will Yahweh, God, Big G, bring with him. You know, it's no different where Christ brought, the thief up to heaven with him because he believed on the cross. You know, in this instance, if we believe that Christ died and rose again, which again, many of us Christians in us, we do share that belief. We don't differ. We don't differ in that. We don't differ in that. Yes, that's a word I'm having an issue with saying. We don't differ in that. We do believe together that Christ did die and rise again. And even so, them that also pass away with Christ, who died with Christ, the Most High will bring with him. All right? And that's a beautiful thing to know. But wait a minute. Where are we going? I thought we just went to the dirt. You mean we're going, like the Most High is taking us somewhere? What's next? Where are we going? All right, so let's take you to the resurrection and the future of hope, right? Let's go to Job 14. Let's go to Job 14. Because the people remain in the grave. I just want to say they rise at an appointed resurrection, right? And like both righteous and wicked are raised up. But let's see this in I got a few precepts that bring this out, but let's go to Job 14. I said Job, right? Yeah, Job 14. What am I doing? Verse 12 through 14. All right. Verse 12. So man lieth down and riseth not, synonymous to death, till the heavens be no more. Listen up. Till the heavens be no more, they shall not awake. So in other words, as long as the heavens exist, the dead is not going to awaken. Till the heavens be no more, and the heavens is going to be there. All right? So that's permanent. That's like a Sharpie on skin or a Sharpie on fabric or something that's never going to go away, right? Nor be raised out of their sleep. So wait, they shall not awake nor be raised out of their sleep. Is that two different things? Nah, he's just telling you, period. You're not going to have no conscience to anything. You're not going to be doing anything. You're not going to be wondering, believing anything. You're going to be asleep. not awake. So you're not going to wake up, nor are you going to be raised from the dead, basically. Point blank. All right. Go to verse. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving forward. Verse 13. Verse 13. Oh, that thou wouldest hide me in the grave, that thou wouldest keep me secret, until thy wrath be past, that thou wouldest appoint me a set time and remember me. If a man die, shall he live again? All the days of my appointed time will I wait till my change come. So something's gonna happen. Something's building up here. Because in verse 13, oh, that wouldest hide me in the grave. You're in the grave. Nobody can see you. You're hidden, if you will. Well, you are hidden. No quotation, I'm just saying it. You're hidden. Period. That thou wouldest keep me secret until thy wrath be past. Until thy wrath be past. What? What? Wait, what's going on? Wait a minute. So therefore, while you're in the grave, you're going to be kept secret. And then when Yahweh Shai come and the wrath happens, after that wrath happens, the dead shall be awakened. But right here it's saying, until thy wrath be past. So something's going to happen after that. That thou wouldest appoint me a set time and remember me. But wait a minute, I thought that when we die, we won't remember anything, anybody, or whatever, what have you. Which is very true. Because the Bible does not contradict itself. The Bible does not overshadow itself. It actually works in conjunction with everything within the Bible. Precept upon precept, line upon line. You know, here a little, there a little. Well, if there were some precepts that contradicted another, that wouldn't even be a thing, right? So, how does that work? So that's why in verse 14, the question is, if a man die, shall he live again? Because you just said, and remember me. Wait a minute. All the days of my appointed time will I wait. So, in all the time that we've been living, right? In all the time that we've known the Most High to be existent, which means, of course, He's always been there. We just found out about Yahweh, right? We just found out about it. And all that time, Yahweh has been appointed. That time, He will wait for you to come to Him. And you will remember Him. Wow. That's wild. But there's another part that I want you to notice, right? In verse 14, he said, till my change come. That's the kicker. So there's a change that's going to come. Let's keep it pushing. Let's go to John 5. Verse 28 and 29. All right, verse 28. Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, in which all that are in the grave shall hear His voice. What? Okay, overload. We just learned that you can't hear. Nothing's going on while you're in the grave. You don't remember nothing. You don't know anything. You can't do anything. You can't receive anything. You can't hear anything. What is going on here? Marvel not at this. Take your time. Let this sink in. And accept it. For the hour is coming, which a lot of people neglect, a lot of people don't take serious, a lot of people don't even know that this is going to happen. For the hour is coming, in the which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and shall come forth, that they have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. Oh, wow. Wow. So you mean to tell me that all that shall come forth, all that come forth, that means everyone that has flesh, that has perished, or just, let's just leave it at all flesh, because it says all shall come forth. The ones that have done good, all the way up until the end, to the resurrection of life, and all that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation, because damnation is not life. And what we're seeing now within the government, within the system, the food we eat, salads, healthy foods, salads, or vegetables, fruit, water, bread, eating like meat, like cows, lamb, chicken. It's defiled now. It's in damnation now, because they have tainted our food. There's no life in that. There's no life in that, you know? And there's something that I wanted to point out in this video. The differences of unto the resurrection of life, that those that did good unto the resurrection of life, and those that have done evil. So what happens when one passes away and we all say, a lot of us say, oh man, yo, that was a great person. Some may beg to differ, but still, the person saying, hey, that was a great person. Man, I can't wait to see you in the kingdom. Can't wait to see you in heaven. It's almost cliche. You never hear those that say, and if you do, it's very few in between. You never hear the one to say, man, that person did a lot of bad stuff. I mean, whoa. I mean, set the city on fire with it. I mean, everybody was scared of this person. Everybody didn't want to mess with this person. I mean, from children to elders, this person messed with everybody, had hate for everybody, who wanted to kill and destroy everything. Man, I can't wait to see that person in the kingdom. You never hear that. Or you never hear, man, that person gonna be in hell. I know I'm not gonna see that person. You know? And it's not right. It's not right, you know, because they don't have the understanding here on where we go. So let's move forward. So we got that, right? All right, we got that. So let's move a little further. All right, let's go to 1 Corinthians 15, verse 52. I'm almost about to wrap up. Just want to make sure that we got an understanding on this. Verse 52. Because it's not a whole lot that we disagree on as far as us in the truth and Christians, right? Modern day Christians, I should say. Because I'm a Christian too, but just not in the modern day sense of what you see today. I'm a Christian that's literally following Christ's steps in the commandments and you know, and wearing fringes. Like, I don't know if you can see it, but you know what I mean? Like, if you got fringes on, you in there. You know what I mean? That's one of the first and easiest ways you can see if a person's following Christ. All right, so let's go there. 1 Corinthians 15:52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, that's fast, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For the trumpet shall sound. You know, it's like when you're watching a football game, a sports game, the play ain't dead till you hear that whistle. Coaches tell their players all the time, keep going until you hear that whistle. So you ever be watching a football game and you see the players dogpile on top of each other? You ever wonder why they keep blowing it? They just blow it once. Because when you got this adrenaline going, you don't hear that first whistle. Most of the time, you don't hear that first whistle. You may not hear the whistle till the 18th blow, or one of your teammates say, "Hey, the play dead, man. The play dead. The whistle blown," because you're engulfed into what you're doing. You're so focused into what you're doing. You don't hear anything else. You don't see anything else, right? So in this, it says, in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, which faster than that, faster than the blink, faster than the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound. So we're going to hear this trumpet. We're going to know that, that's it. It's going to be very easy to tell what's going on at this time. And the dead shall be raised incorruptible. That means you will be in your physical form. You'll be raised up. Okay? And we shall be changed. And we shall be changed. Like verse 53. For this corruptible must be put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So we will be incorrupt. We will be raised up. As far as Israelites, we will be raised up and be put on incorruption, and our mortal will be immortality. And that's the forever of us living. But however, all of us will be raised up before judgment. You can't be raised up in your physical flesh like right now. Like, hey, I'm about to go to Yahweh crib. No, Yahweh did something that no man could replicate. That man is trying to replicate, but no man can replicate. No man can do or undo. No man can get a body out of the grave and make this incorruptible and have this body listen to his judgment and retain it. No. Only the Most High can do that. So when we're gone, we go into the dust, we turn into dust, go into the earth as dust. We're there until after Yahweh Shai's resurrection. After his I believe it's a great day. But after his return, his second coming, and then, you know what? Let's go to Acts 24, verse 15. Verse 15. And have hope towards Yahweh, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust. See what I'm saying? When we be raised up, don't matter if you're good or bad, there shall be a resurrection of the dead. So in the moment, we are no more. And then when Yahweh Shai does what he does, and he does it well, then comes the resurrection of the dead. Now we know Israelites will be first in judgment. We're going first. We're first at bat with that. Why? Because we are His chosen children. You know, wouldn't you wanna take your best first? Wouldn't you want to take your favorite piece of food first? You know, you don't. I mean, some do put their best last because saving the best for last. But in this case, the Most High, like, nah, I'm putting my ace card on. I'm playing spades. I'm putting my ace card on first. Ain't none of y'all beating this. I know, because I got it. And I know y'all got cards that's not going to beat this ace. Or this joker, or whatever the case. Ain't nothing beating what the Most High got for us. Ain't nothing overcoming that. Ain't nothing switching anything up. Ain't no wordplay good enough that's going to make this be not what it is. All right? So just have hope towards the Most High. You know, have hope, have faith, pray that you will be the one that will make it into the kingdom after the resurrection of the dead. All right? So, let's keep in mind, I got a little more notes left. All right, so let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 8. And what I would like to do is I would like to go into like the state of the righteous, basically. Like hope to be with Christ, with the fulfillment of, that happens to the resurrection. Like, what's going on here? Shalakia. All right, so verse 8. We are confident, I say, and willing rather to be absent from the body and present with the Lord. Verse 9. Wherefore we labor, that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. All right? Because the Most High, there's no one greater than the program. There's no one greater than the Most High and his plans, right? So yes, we will be present with the Lord. That's something that we can agree with, both us in the truth and Christians, right? There's a whole lot more to unpack with this, but to keep it moving, let's go to Philippians 1 and 23. I'm almost done. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. Hold up. Let me get some more of my notes out real quick. All right, here we go. For I am in a strait betwixt two, having a desire to depart and to be with Christ, which is far better. I mean, if that's not the truth in a half, you know what? Let's look at the definition betwixt. I get the feeling many have never heard of that word. So let's put that in betwixt. All right. Okay, so in Philippians chapter 1, verse 23, it says, "For I am in a strait between two." The definition of betwixt is it means I don't know how you can hear this well or not, but in the blue letter, it's Strong's G1537, ek.
Strong's G1537, ek.
Oops. So, the definition is a root word etymology, a primary preposition denoting origin, the point whence action or motion proceeds, from, out of place, time, or cause, literal or figurative. So basically the outline of Bible usage will be out of, from, by, away from. All right. So when it says, "For I am in a strait betwixt two," means I'm being torn between two, right? Like I'm in between. Yeah. So having a desire to depart and to be with Christ, which is far better. So even though you have a desire to depart from this wicked earth, to depart from this wicked world, because you know there is something way greater, and that's to be with Christ. Some children have a good parent and a bad parent, and the child is very well knowledgeable about this, and they choose to be with the good parent. They would rather go through whatever it takes, whatever hell they got to go through to get with the better parent. And this is what this is saying. Like, yo, man, I'm torn between two different places. Like, I'm coming from this place, going to this place, and I know going to this place is way better. But you got to depart from your body to get there, not through deleting yourself. That's not going to work. Or provoking somebody to delete you. That's not going to work either. Even though the Most High determines all. But that's something he doesn't smile upon. All right, so let's keep that straight. To be with Christ, which is far better. We definitely agree on that. So yeah, it's just the hope to be with Christ, and but the fullness of that what happens after the resurrection, basically. All right. So last point. It's the final judgment after the resurrection. Now, this is something that I don't know how many people would agree with or understand. But I got to put it out there. Put that seed out there. Y'all can, do further research after that. But for time purposes, let's go to Hebrews. Hebrews 9:27. All right. 9:27. Shalaki. Hebrews verse 9, chapter 27. And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this, the judgment. So, therefore, the Most High has already appointed men to once perish. So we know we're going to perish. But after we perish, then comes judgment. There's a thing, right? If we go to Revelation chapter 20, verse 12, I'm going to just take you there so we don't lose each other. Let's go to Revelation chapter 20. Wait, let me break this down real quick. Shalaki. Oh, I did. All right. So verse 12 through 13. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before Yahweh. And the books were open. And another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. Verse 13. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it. The death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. I want to take a second to highlight the part where it said, and death and hell delivered up the dead. How is hell going to deliver up the dead? Well, actually, hell is synonymous with the word grave in Hebrew. Shalakia. It often translates to the Hebrew word Sheol, which is grave. So in this context, in this particular position that this is in, hell is speaking of grave. Now, when I read it again, maybe you'll hear it more accurately. All right, verse 13 again. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it. And death and the grave, right, in hell, delivered up the dead, which were in them. And they were judged, every man according to their works. All right? Because death, as many of us know, Yahweh Shai killed death, took care of death after everything was done. After his time coming back after his moment of coming back the second time. He gonna just take care of business, for lack of better words. He's gonna smite anything that looks foreign to him, any nation that's not of Israel. He's gonna put in some work for us. But the last thing he's going to smite, the last thing he's going to see perish is death. So you got death in hell. Hell is the grave, two different things. So, and death and hell delivered up the dead, which were in them. Death was in that, and hell was in that person. Because death was in that person, and that person was in the grave. All right? And they were judged, every man according to their works. So whatever you did, you judge according to that. See, you ain't always, you should always make it right with people. However, in case that person is not around anymore, or you can never see that person again, that person's on the other side of the planet, you want to make it right with the Most High. That's part of your works. And works goes with faith. So you can't be doubting while you're putting in the works. You can't say, man, I don't think this is going to work, and you do it anyway. Sure, sometimes it may work out. But that's just the Most High showing his favor. Keep in mind, favor isn't fair. So you keep thinking, oh man, it worked for me the last time. Yeah, all right, try it again now. Might not work. You know? Yeah, so I wanted to bring that out, right? Because that's something that, you know, brings this together more thoroughly, right? So, verse 14, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Okay? And whoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. So, again, death and graves were cast into the lake of fire. Now, how could hell be cast into the lake of fire? For any of those that say, no, that ain't what it means. Well, please tell me how hell can be cast into the lake of fire. I'll wait. So, yes, death and graves, because death and graves are synonymous with each other. So, if there's no death, there's no graves. If there's no graves, death ain't doing his job, can't do his job. So, he won't be doing his job. And that's what I wanted to bring out. You know what I'm saying? Like, we do have a common similarity in beliefs that we will be resurrected up to the Most High after death. But it's not until the judgment to where we go to where we need to go after that. What the Most High is going to do with us after that. Because many believe, hey, you know, you pass away now and you see eulogies and you'll see memorial services only talking about you're going to be with Christ. You know? And knowing a person's life, now, no, we cannot determine whether the person's going to the kingdom or not, or going to get their candles blown out or not. We can't determine that. But we can see the labor that you have put on this earth. We can see the fruits of the Spirit, or the lack thereof. We can see that. And we can, you know, feel, you wasn't really doing what you were supposed to be doing. But the Most High has plans for us all. But most importantly, if you're not in the book of life, it's over. How do you enter into the book of life? Well, first, you have to do things that coexist with life. Life is Yahweh Shah. Life is Yahweh. Life is in the Bible. Life is in the commandments. That's how you get into the book of life. Doing what the Most High requires of us to do within this life to gain and obtain a bigger and better promised life. Now, us Israelites is going to have a much better and bigger life than other nations in the kingdom. I pray that you see where I'm coming from with this. I don't care if I get 3 views, 2 views. Just let me get 1 view of someone that received this message. And I'm good. That's all I care about. I mean, you get the likes, that's greatly appreciated. You can comment, you can share, even subscribe. But it doesn't mean nothing if it's not genuine. I mean, it's plenty to learn. Plenty to learn. But you must learn with an open heart and an open mind to Yahweh and to Yahweh Shah. And whatever you learn, put to the side or do away with it. And then bring better information and more accurate information. And see where you go from there. Because death is promised to us all. And it's extremely permanent. Whatever you're going through right now, whether if you missed your rent, you getting kicked out, evicted, about to go through surgery, whatever you're going through, just keep in mind, it's not permanent until the Most High calls you to death. So if you want to be in the kingdom, if you want to be sitting with Christ and the Most High, follow His law, statutes, and commandments. Okay? You will have everlasting life after that, Israel. All right, so I hope you've been edified. All praise to the Most High. And I'll see you again on the next one. All praises. Kwam Yasharallah. Shalom.
You see how they give us these items and these idols, and these idols are idolatry. And it causes you to go into sin. And when you read Deuteronomy 28:15, God says that the reason why our people are punished, the reason why we're punished, the reason why we don't know no better is because we don't listen. Okay?
I said to my professor, why mourn the death of presidents, or anyone for that matter? The dead can't hear us. And he asked me if I believed in heaven. I said no. And then he asked if I had no faith in God. I said, you have it wrong. God has no faith in us.